A Hamas official said at least 30 people were killed and hundreds wounded in the besieged enclave, which the Palestinian militant group control. The Israeli military confirmed it hit dozens of targets during the night. The Palestinian side reports more than 900 people have been killed by Israeli attacks since fighting began on Saturday. Israel says its death toll has gone beyond 1,200. The United Nations says more than 250,000 people have been displaced inside Gaza. Foreign ministers from the Arab world are today holding an emergency meeting to discuss the conflict. Well, for more, our correspondent Adel Mahrouky joins us live from Cairo. Adel, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us here on Africa Live. Adel, what more can you tell us about the Arab meeting and what will they hope to achieve?
Well, the Arab League meeting is an emergency meeting for the foreign ministers of the Arab world, and it comes by a request from Palestine and Morocco. And it, of course, comes because of the recent escalation and the violence, especially after Israel waged war over the Gaza Strip. Besieged and with no humanitarian access to it, the Arab League will be also including UN officials like the Commissioner of the UNRWA, the United Nations Refugee Agency for Palestinians, as well as the Secretary General's envoy for the Middle East peace. It comes as the Arab League no longer is aiming at only releasing statements of condemnation, but the Arab League is trying to push forward for something that could be more of a permanent solution, to have a united stance towards what can resolve this conflict that has been stretching for over 7 decades and violence breaking out from time to time with no apparent end. So the Arab League today will be focusing on providing an initiative or a plan that it believes could end the Palestinian crisis in terms of reaching a two-state solution, and how this can be achieved as long as discuss any possibilities of rallying international support to this vision. Already countries like China and Russia have been announcing statements similar to what the Arab League intends to be heading for, and therefore it is more or less of a plan for Arab countries to set a plan for how to move forward in terms of rallying diplomacy across the globe for this cause. Of course, at this moment, with the war waging and the violence escalating, no one is expecting any talks to be happening soon, but at least the Arab League aims for a longer plan that can finally lead to some sort of a breakthrough to this standstill and status quo.
All right, the Arab League is seeking for ways to end the conflict. But Adel, let me ask you this. Egypt is keen to prevent a mass exodus from the Gaza Strip into its territory. Why is this, and what can Cairo actually do to offer in terms of humanitarian support?
So first of all, there has been reports of bombings happening at the Rafah crossing from the Palestinian side, which has halted the movement for the evacuations of those severely and critically injured seeking health care in Egypt. Humanitarian aid has been flowing, and there has been coordination between the Egyptian Red Crescent and the Palestinian Red Crescent as well. However, after the President Sisi announced of sending a comprehensive convoy that includes all necessities for Palestinian, from medicine, healthcare, it also included doctors from all fields, Egyptian doctors and volunteers, as well as clothes and food. All of that has frozen as the violence intensified near the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza, of course, from the Gazan side. So that's in terms of humanitarian access. In terms of the exodus or opening the gates for Palestinians, Egypt has been warning about such consequences and its implication on the Palestinian crisis. If Palestinians leave the Gaza Strip, they move into Egypt, there is no one to be holding the territories. It will ease the target of maybe giving up on Gaza as a Palestinian territory. So there's a lot of depth into the reasons from which Egypt has been trying and believes that Palestinians need to have to stay hold and hold strong to their land, while humanitarian and support can come to them through that passage, if it is safe enough, of course, for the flow of that to happen. Now, what we're hearing at the current stage is that the movement is quite limited. Almost no movement is happening at the border. And when it does, when there is opportunity for people to cross, it's basically those in critical health conditions. The usual flow of citizens, like the daily passage of visitors from Palestine in two ways, Palestinians entering Gaza or Palestinians exiting Gaza, that will come to a halt for the current time until the area around Rafah becomes safe for people to move around.
All right, Adel Mahrouky, thanks for staying on top of that story for us. Adel.